ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, my fellow graduates of IIT Technical. Oh wait, IIT Technical. Welcome to the box. Take a sniff. Crown Hall has a smell. It's kind of like floor wax and modernism. I noticed it for the first time when I walked in here 5 years ago, full of fresh ambition and bright-eyed, expecting to learn how to design sweet, curvaceous structures and sleek, modernist high-rises. So, when our first assignment turned out to be to repeatedly draft liquid containers, I think we were all a bit taken aback. I mean, what could you possibly learn from a bottle of Coke and a tube of toothpaste? Freshman year was when we began to understand that architecture is more than a moment. That it is the color of male oscillation, or of an adjunct edge. It is a plane made of postal boxes. And with every house we rendered in tape, and every space that we transitioned through, we began to free our minds of preconceptions. And most important of all, we began to understand that architecture is not something that you undertake alone. Whether it was borrowing a piece of lead, or asking your friend if the drawing you were pinning up was level, you guys need to fix that. Okay, you're good. It was immediately apparent that we were all often in the position of being friends in need, a trait that we will carry through to the end of our education. Impressed by each other's work, and inspired by each other's opinions, every what if became a point of discourse that brought us closer. Architecture seemed like the ever-expanding horizon. Every dream, no matter how obscure, seemed like a possibility. And then, we were crushed by the box. 2 1/4 by 3 5/8 by 7 5/8 inches. We're all too familiar with that. Family, friends, imagine saying that tens of thousands of times in a row. Now imagine writing that tens of thousands of times in a row. Now imagine yourself drawing that perfectly tens of thousands of times in a row, after row, after row. It was a rigorous preservation of patience, discipline, and above all, sanity. It was a delicate balance of sleep deprivation and caffeine, just enough to sustain a steady enough hand to meet every line at a crisp and perfect corner. It was a dependence on a friend to help you maintain that balance, acting as each other's alarms and asking, can you wake me in 3 course loads? It's the sanity issues we talk about. It was the whistle orchestra of 15 people at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was the center core dodgeball and soccer matches. It was the annoying yet mind-stimulating remix of the Super Mario Brothers theme song. It was the comforting and inspirational words of your professor who told you to simply quit your bitching and keep drawing. It was facing the option of quitting but persevering, even if it took you through your winter break. It was knowing that you weren't alone. And it was a solidification of camaraderie that can be found in no other major. At my age, I've bounced around a few majors, so I know. It's something that can only be understood had you done it yourself. It was finishing one 30 by 40 white Strathmore board, only to see the next as the deepest black hole in the universe. It was painful, it was arduous, it was something we will never regret because it was a great source of pride, and it was a rite of passage, and it was second year. It was about bricks, and it was all about bricks.
At last, the weight of the bricks was lifted off of our shoulders. However, the relief lasted only a short while. Soon enough, we realized we were thoroughly lost. No longer could we find solace in the simple structure of our SK assignments or take refuge in the time-tested details of MEs. Suddenly, we were responsible for developing our own ideas and our own means of expressing them. While this newly founded freedom felt great on the surface, the truth of the matter was we were merely infants just learning to walk. For instance, can you remember the first time a professor asked you, "So what's your concept?" Quickly, Eminem transformed into a dungeon as you desperately sought the words to prove yourself. Or do you remember the time of your first review? As your turn to present slowly approached, you could physically feel the knot building in your throat. While moments like these, along with mechalike programming and structures, characterize third year as one of confusion and struggle, they also form the catalyst for reaching a new closeness with our peers. Where before we found ourselves merely keeping each other up to finish the Strathmore, we were now beginning to listen to each other's ideas. For the first time, we were truly seeing the diversity of thought within our student body. At times, we agreed with our peers and celebrated their visions. In other moments, we courageously challenged them. Whatever the case was, we were ultimately maturing, slowly becoming adults in the world of architecture.